Peace be to you all. Assalamu alaikum. Omar Abdul-Malik, physician assistant, health educator here. I wanted to talk about the recent passing of Rayful Edmons. For those of you guys who don't know him, he was probably one of the most prolific crack cocaine dealers in the 80s during the crack cocaine epidemic of its heights in Washington, D.C. And it's reputed that he's responsible for a lot of the crack cocaine-related killings. I had some experience with the people who used to work with him because I see them in the various hospitals and streets and halfway houses where I work as a healthcare provider. And incidentally, it's apparently Rayful Edmons died in a halfway house after making all those millions of dollars on crack cocaine. It's reputed that I think he made as much as $1 million per month on just the sale of crack. And I talked to a lot of the people that used to work for him, and I said, what was that like? And they tell me the same thing. Man, I was making so much money during that time. Not all of them were drug dealers. They did different things, like some were enforcers. One guy told me he was just a carrier. So his job was to take the money from the sale of the product to different places. But all of the guys are very broken men now. They're homeless. They're sick. As one guy told me, he had been burned all over his body. He said, "Man, this is redemption, because back in the day, I used to do some stuff." And I remember some of the, we used to call them the homeboys and the beeper boys, because they would wear pagers. Back in the 80s, I used to work at McDonald's across the street from Howard. And some of them would try to show me, they'd flash their cash and be like, "Yo, man, you don't have to be doing this, man." But I was like, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to get engaged in that career path because I didn't want to go to jail or hell. It just didn't seem like a very good lifestyle. It came with a fast money, but with that came a lot of violence. You can see this in things like New Jack City, starring Wesley Snipes and Chris Rock and Ice-T. But it was a lot of violence that was centered around that. Even our own mayor, Marion Barry, had a crack cocaine addiction. So it touched the lives of people. A lot of black folks. It destroyed a lot of families and communities. Even folks of black folks of high education and supposedly white collar workers. So it transcended socioeconomic levels. And, it wasn't called a crack. It wasn't called an epidemic back then, unlike the opioid epidemic, quote unquote, of now. It was just a lot of bad guys doing crack. And during the Reagan administration and even before that. So they had this Just Say No campaign. But how can you say just say no if you already come from an impoverished people and now you're making several $1,000s per week or per day even. So, I don't know what's going to become of Rayful Edmons now. God's going to deal with him. However he chooses to deal with him. He's dead. Died a few days ago as of the shooting of this video. But, that's part of the life of dealing drugs. So, not everybody's got choices. He's apparently born into a family who were drug dealers. But my experience with that has been as a healthcare provider. So if you want to be a PA like me, stay the course, and you can feel free to reach out with me. I'll leave my email in the descriptions. But anyway, I wish you guys the best of success in your positive endeavors, and I wish you all a happy 2025. Take care.